Hi, Darin Mangum here, securities lawyer, Mangum and Associates. Thanks for watching my YouTube channel. I wanted to hop on today. Just finished up a session of the PPM Attorney Capital Forum and thought I would reach out to my YouTube subscribers and talk about this new rule update when it comes to private fund advisors. Again, our clients, we do a lot of different private funds, and so whether you're a registered fund advisor or you're an exempt advisor, you definitely want to be aware of these rules. Most of the big impact affects registered private fund advisor, registered investment advisors that are registered with the commission, as opposed to exempt advisors who are not subject to registration. A lot of our clients fall into that category, but still, you want to be aware of these rules. The big impact here is the quarterly statements. A lot of our clients do a lot of this already, right? But now it's going into effect as a required rule. If you're a registered private fund advisor, you now have to provide quarterly statements, and you have to do an annual audit, which in the past, again, a lot of our clients do audits anyway, but now it's definitely a requirement. Some of our clients will do like annual statements or semi-annual statements. A lot of our clients do way more than that. They'll put out monthly updates, monthly reports, but here now it's definitely a requirement. You have to provide a quarterly statement and do an annual audit. As far as private fund advisors who are not registered with the commission, who are exempt from registration pursuant to certain rules, it's not the burden isn't as bad. There is a requirement now that you're supposed to, and a lot of this is already disclosed in the PPM, but you can't charge or allocate expenses related to an investigation. And what's happened, I think, in the past is the SEC would conduct an investigation into a private fund, and so the private fund was using investor capital, right, to pay for legal expenses to handle the investigation. That's a no-no now, unless it's disclosed, and also the investors in the fund give their consent, right? So that, which kind of makes sense, because you don't want. I mean, a fund could spend hundreds of thousands of dollars of capital, or maybe even more, defending itself and using the investor's money to do so, right? Obviously, if it's disclosed that that's a possibility and that's permissible, then you would not need to go back and get permission from the investors. But if you don't have that in your documents, then you would need to start. You need to get their consent before you dip into that capital to do so. And also, any kind of advisory fees or anything like that need to be disclosed. I mean, a lot of it's all about disclosure, right? What are you going to do with the money and all of that? Also, allocating fees or expenses on a non-pro rata basis, right? You could say, oh, hey, we're just going to charge fees to, these larger investors, we're not going to charge you a fee, and then these smaller investors will charge you a fee. It really has to be uniform, pro rata, in a fair and equitable way, right? That way, some investors aren't carrying the burden of some of these expenses, right? Also, borrowing or getting a line of credit in a private fund without disclosure, right? And that's kind of a given anyway. It's like, hey, a lot of times our fund documents, it'll already have in there the authority for the general partner or the fund manager to go ahead and borrow money in the name of the fund. getting a line of credit but if that's disclosed, then it's okay. But if it's not, obviously, even before this rule came into effect, that would have been a no-no, right? The good news is that a lot of these rules are they're going to be proscriptive, meaning it's not retroactive, right? So if you already have a fund in place with certain deal terms and audit requirements, it's not going to affect you. It's not going to affect they call it a legacy status, right? It's like, you're kind of grandfathered in, like they don't have to go rewrite the deal, right? Obviously incurring now an audit obligation and all that. It's really for new funds going forward. The draft proposed rule, they were going to try to get away with using side letters. The proposed rule said, hey, we're going to get rid of side letters altogether, which is kind of crazy. Like, what side letter? You got to have the ability to do a side letter, and under certain circumstances, and they were going to get rid of that altogether. But they kind of backpedaled, and the final rule does not have that requirement. Although it does have here that you can't give a preference to one investor at the detriment of another investor, obviously without full disclosure. Again, the name of the game is disclosure. You definitely want to make sure that you're treating everybody fairly and all of that, right? So, again, if you're offering different preferred equity interests in your fund, and it's all disclosed in the PPM, like one class of investor gets a better preferred return than another, that's okay. It's already disclosed, but you can't kind of pick and choose. Hey, I'm going to give you guys a preference and you guys not. Now, you definitely want to have a provision in there saying, hey, we may enter into side letters with third parties, but at least it preserves that. So anyway, kind of interesting, very kind of a big deal for some from new funds, especially if you're a registered investment advisor, but also if you're a private fund advisor, you just want to make sure that you're aware of these rules. Obviously, our law firm, Mangum and Associates, we're a boutique securities law firm specializing in securities law for the past 23 years now. So certainly love to help you navigate the ever-changing world of securities law. If you have questions, feel free to reach out, send me an email. If you like this content, feel free to subscribe. I try to get on here at least every other week or so to try to keep you guys up to date. Also, if you like this content, number one, if you feel this, if you know of somebody that could benefit from this content, please feel free to share it. And also, if you want to dive deeper into a lot of these topics, I do a kind of a 30,000 foot overview of a lot of these topics on the this free YouTube channel. We do have a new membership subscription service to the PPM Attorney Capital Forum, which is available, very, very affordable, where I try to get on once a week. We spend a full hour diving deep into a lot of these different topics, and all of it's recorded, right? So as long as you're a member of the forum, you've got access to all those past recorded sessions, plus access to every live session that we do, and it's a live stream answering questions that pertain not just to the topic at hand, but also when it comes to real world situations that different members of the forum might be dealing with. Again, when you're raising capital, there may be somebody else in the forum that may be having the same question or the same issue, and obviously the forum is a place where those can be addressed. And at a very affordable membership price, right? Anyway, so check it out. I'll put a link to that in the show notes here or the description. And again, thanks for watching my YouTube channel, and we will see you on the next video. Thank you.